Hi, it's Patty from PS Paper Crafts. I wanted to show you how to make another Christmas card. I'm using the Gnome for the holidays. This is just the cutest stamp set that I've seen in the catalog, I think. I love this guy. I have made a card with him, and she's so cute. And it says, "There's no place like Gnome for the Christmas season. You're a friend like Gnome other. A little Christmas wish and jolly holly everything." So I use the little Christmas wish, and on the inside I have him, holly jolly everything. So it's kind of like a peekaboo card. And I'm using the in color designer series paper, and it has that wood grain, and it's in cinnamon cider. Had to think of the name. So let's get started, and I have my pieces cut. I'm using very vanilla instead of whisper white because I thought it kind of went with this color a little bit better. And I have my pieces. The first thing I want to do is to just adhere this, and then I'm going to cut it together so it's lined up perfectly. So I'm just going to get my liquid glue, and you don't have to adhere it first. It did cut nicely with both layers. So let's just adhere this. Okay, and then we'll run it through. I'm using the layering oval dies. So I'm using this comes with both the scalloped and the kind of the plain. So I'm using the largest scalloped for the scalloped edge, and we'll just put that aside for now. And then I'm using this one, which is actually the third from the largest. So it fit nicely in this one. That's why I picked it. Okay, so we're going to open this up. I want to put it a little bit low because I want to have room for my sentiment up here. And let me get my embossing and cutting machine. One of these days I'm going to get the name right. It's the Stampin Cut and Emboss machine. And I'm using my plain base and the number 2 and then a number 3. And I put this down and put it down low. Let me just open that up a little bit. I guess I could have done this before I scored it, but this is fine. So I think this looks good. And we'll just put this plate on top and run it through. Just to make sure it cuts all the way through. There we go. The designer series paper is a little bit thin. So now you'll have these 2 ovals that you can use for another project if you wanted. So then the next thing we'll do is get a piece of the cinnamon cider, and I'll just put this and this down, and we'll run it through together. So you just want to get, I just want the scalloped layer. Okay, so we'll just put the plate on this and run this one through, and then we're done with our cutting. Okay, so now we have another, so we have 3 ovals to use for other projects, which I may use, or I may cut them down or use it as a scrap. And then we have these, and you end up with this piece. That's my goal. Let's put this aside. Okay, so now we have our card, and we have our oval, just to kind of set it off a little bit. And let's put this, well, before I put it down, let's do our inside. So again, the inside, you don't need to add a paper, but actually you probably should, because we're going to use Stampin Blends. And we want to make sure that it doesn't bleed through to the other side of this. So I would put, even though we're using Whisper White, I would put the layer in. So I'm just going to line this up. Now what you can do, I didn't do it, but what you can do is just draw a circle around here, you know, along here, an oval I should say, and get it lined up so you know where to put the gnome. But I'm not going to do that. I'm winging it. So I want to get him nice and inked up. And then I will just put him right here. And I wouldn't put the paper down yet because we want to make sure he stamps well. If he didn't, we'd flip the paper over and have another chance at it. So let's do our coloring and then we'll put them together. So I'm using the Stampin Blends. I used Memento ink to stamp him. Isn't he cute? I love him. So I'm using the light smoky slate, and I'll do his beard and his mustache. It's a little bit darker, and I actually was going to lighten it up with the color lifter, but I decided to just keep it. I think it's okay. So we'll just color this all in, and then we'll I'll tell you all the colors, and I'll probably just speed this up a little bit, or maybe I don't have to. It's not that much coloring. For the nose, I'm using the light petal pink. That's a good kind of skin tone color. So I'll do his hands. I think that's it. And then I'm using the light, is it light or dark? Dark seafoam on his little outfit. And I thought this was a really nice color. I'm also using light Night of Navy. And I kind of like that combination of the colors. It's not very Christmassy, but I thought it was a good gnome color, if that makes sense. We'll do the middle part of his socks, and then we'll do the stripes on his hat. Nice stocking hat here. And we'll just do that last little tip as well. Okay, cute, right? And you can go over them to make them darker. So again, I'm using the light Night of Navy. And I'm using the thin ends of all of these just because I don't want to make a mistake and go out. It's kind of small areas. And for this, I'm really just dotting it. I'm not even coloring it. I'm barely touching it. And up here, I'll color more. I am using the thick Whisper White, or thick Very Vanilla cardstock, because I did not pack my regular. I'm away for a while, and I packed up my whole craft room, and there's certain things I forgot, and the Very Vanilla regular was one of them. But that's okay. The thicker is just as good. I just think it might bleed a little bit more. Oh, and I forgot on the very top of his bulb, I'll just kind of dot that with the smoky slate. And then we have a little bit of Poppy Parade and Granny Apple Green. So this is the dark Poppy Parade. And I'll just do the center of this. So here's our Christmas colors, right? And then I'm doing the bow. Again, I'm just dotting. There we go. And then dark Granny Apple Green for the top, the bottom, I should say, and the top of this. And I'm actually going to add a little dot of red at the very bottom. And then the leaves, just dot it away. Isn't it cute? And let's just put a little dot of red right down there, just to finish it. Okay, so now we have him done. Let's get our sentiments. So I'm stamping the sentiments in Poppy Parade, and I'm using the sentiments from this, so the Holly Jolly Everything. And you want to make sure that it's up high on the inside, because you don't want to have it show through too low. Okay, so we'll just put this right up here. And if you make a mistake with this, you can just put a layer, kind of just cut a piece and lay it right over. And let's do our little front sentiment, a little Christmas wish. I thought that was so cute. And we're just doing it on a strip. And then I want to punch that with the classic label punch. So I'll unlock it and then I'll feed it in so I can see it this way. Okay, just moving right along here. Now let's put the card together. So I want to put this down with some liquid glue. Let me get that out, and we're just going to dab it around a little bit. This is a good way to just make a frame. Put the circle within the circle when we cut it, just like I showed you. It just makes a nice little frame, and you could do this in a different color if you wanted. Let's make sure it's all nice and even. Trying to make sure there's nothing showing through. And that's the nice thing with the liquid glue, you can move it around a little bit. But I think that looks good. Okay, and let's put this in. I'm just putting a few dots here and there. And we want to put it down and then look at it with it closed to make sure it lines up nicely. Perfect. I love it. There we go. So we just need to put this down, and I'll use a couple of the little dimensionals. So I have my little tiny ones, and I'll just put that across the back. And then this is another card done. Oh, and we have to put some little gems on. And those are in Poppy Parade. It's nice to have everything kind of match. So I'm using all the trimmings, embellishments, and I'll show you them in a minute. I thought it needed something a little bit more. This is a very tiny sentiment. Oof. I'm fumbling it. Okay, so I thought, you know, I would add some here. So these are, again, all the trimmings, embellishments, and these are Poppy Parade. So that worked out really well. And I used the larger ones. A lot of times I use the small, but I thought this would be a nice one for the larger. So we'll just put 3 down the side. Okay, so that's the card. Very cute. Okay, hope you give this stamp set a try. It's really has some just cute things. I love the little house too. All right, you guys have a good day. Take care. Bye.